speed up the process here and get right on time by moving audit and organization rules to tomorrow, just for my colleagues and the public to be aware. And we will then move right now to the Committee on Campus Planning, Buildings, and Grounds. Chair Nyland, will you
Thank
please
you, Vice
convene
Chair
that
Day.
meeting? Thank you.
And good afternoon, everyone. Will the Committee on Campus Planning, Buildings, and Grounds please come to order? I note that there are no speakers that have requested to address this committee during today's public comment period. We move to the consent agenda, which contains the minutes only. It is now time for the committee to consider today's consent agenda. Is there any objection to the approval of the consent agenda? Seeing none, the consent agenda is approved. Is that fast enough, Adam? Okay, good. Discussion agenda. Item 2 is an action item for the CSU Dominguez Hills Student Housing Phase 3. The item will be presented by Steve Roya, Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Financial Officer, Willie Hagan, President, CSU Dominguez Hills, and By San Juan, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Capital Planning, Design, and Construction. Steve, take it away.
Thank you, Chair Nyland. This item requests the Board of Trustees approval of schematic plans for the Student Housing Phase 3 project at Cal State Dominguez Hills. This project was approved by the board in November of 2016 as part of the 2017-2018 Capital Outlay Program and returns today for approval of schematic plans. As many of us who have visited the campus know, Cal State Dominguez Hills has built a sense of community and togetherness throughout the university. Today's project, as President Hagan and Assistant Vice Chancellor By San Juan will describe, will strengthen that sense of community and further the university's efforts to build a cohesive, consistent, and supportive campus core for future generations of students. President Hagan, would you please begin?
Thank you very much, Steve. We're very excited to bring this student housing project before the board for approval. As many of you know, we have a large land mass and we have a lot of student interest. We want to build additional dormitories to help support our educational student success initiatives. This is the first new dormitory project in 36 years. And in 1984, the dorms that we have now were not actually built for the students. They were built to support the 1984 Olympics. So the current dormitory project is going to be built to support the students and is designed not to support the athletic endeavors, but to support the academic endeavors of our students. This housing is going to be designed as a more traditional residence hall. It's going to have high-tech academic and other student support programs in it geared to support the needs of primarily freshmen and sophomore. And as you've heard before from other presidents, a residential hall is very important to supporting the student success. We'll integrate academic support meeting rooms in this building. The intention is to locate this facility close to our academic buildings. It's a short walk to our library, our student recreation facilities, and the student union. And it's just, I know you're short on time, so I won't say too much more. It's just going to make a tremendous difference because we have a large demand for student resident support. And right now we only have 642 beds. So this, 500-bed addition will make a big difference in what we can do in terms of supporting our students and providing strong educational support and advancing the academic mission of our students. So with that, I'll turn the project over to Vi for further detailed discussion.
Thank you, President Hagan. This is the physical master plan for Cal State University Dominguez Hills. The plan was last approved by the board in May 2010. The yellow line shows the extent of the academic core with the western 85 acres leased to the operators of StubHub Center, a venue for soccer, football, and tennis. The project site is shaded in red, and some of the academic buildings that President Hagan mentioned are to the left of the site, and the existing student housing is shaded in purple to the east. This is the site plan for the project. The plan shows the two 4-story residential wings and the adjacent commons, 1-story commons. Each wing serves as a neighborhood cluster with a variety of room sizes and a study room. The shared lounges the two wings are further connected floor to floor through openings and stair connections, so it has both connections laterally and vertically. This variety of scale enables the creation of student communities and the formulation of close-knit groups of peers and neighbors, enabling students to get to know many others within their residential neighborhood. The smaller 1-story commons building houses the front desk and administrative office space, a small convenience store and laundry facilities, and forms a sheltered and secured courtyard with the residence hall wings. The building includes a kitchenette and group space for residential life activities, and the group space opens out into the community courtyard to accommodate student activities with outdoor activities. This next slide shows a rendering as one walks east from the academic core. The residential wing is shown in the foreground with a single-story commons in the center of the picture. Environmentally sustainable strategies incorporated into the project include passive cooling by natural ventilation through operable windows in each student room, energy-efficient lighting, and also heating and cooling system. The environmentally preferred finishes will be used, and efforts to reduce waste and promote student wellness. The $55.9 million project will be financed through system-wide revenue bonds and designated capital reserves from student housing. Student housing revenue will repay the bond debt financing. The Committee on Finance will consider this project financing approval at a future meeting. I'll now turn it over to Executive Vice Chancellor Relier for some closing remarks.
Thank you, Vi. This project will make a significant impact on student life and therefore student success at Cal State Dominguez Hills. Simply put, this project will be a game changer, shifting the culture of the campus toward a lively, engaged, student-based, and connected community. Chair Nylon, that concludes our presentation, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that presentation. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Move it.
Trustee Melendez?
I have one question, I'm sorry. I'll make it quick. Can you just share, please, the who was involved in the design of the, I was looking more in terms of stakeholders of the residence halls.
Typically, the housing director would be included. You mean the campus folks, not the architect?
Yes.
So I'll defer to President Hagan.
So you're talking about the people who helped design what the building's going to be like? Well, we have, our Vice President of Student Affairs. We have our housing folks. We put together a committee that involves students. We also involve consultants who are looking at what are the current trends in best supporting students. There have been a lot of cycles in different types of student housing from the apartment units, but they also discovered that in a lot of cases, the students became isolated, and the issue of community and engagement was a bigger issue. So there's a trend in moving more back towards a traditional dorm where they can engage. So we engaged outside experts, we engaged our students and our student affairs and our housing staff in the overall design of this.
Thank you very much.
Trustee Taylor. There is a motion. And just to clarify, the item is the CSU Dominguez Hills Student Housing Phase 3. It's an action item. Before the Committee on Campus Planning, Buildings, Ground, only committee members may vote at this time. We do have a motion. Is there a second? There's a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This measure carries. Thank you. Item 3 is an informational item on progress towards the CSU's environmental sustainability goals. The item will be presented by Steve Relia, Vice San Juan, Horace Mitchell, President of CSU Bakersfield, and Adrienne Grieve, Associate Professor of City and Regional Planning at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Steve, will you take it away?
Thank you, Chair Nylon. This is an information item on progress to achieve the CSU's environmental sustainability goals. We've made good progress in a number of operational areas, and our presenters will provide a campus perspective on how our sustainability programs support both campus facility operations as well as student success initiatives. I will now ask Assistant Vice Chancellor Vi San Juan to start with providing information about this program. Vi?
Thank you, Steve. The board adopted a policy that challenged the CSU to integrate sustainable practices across the university, which is the backdrop to today's presentation. This report was prepared to demonstrate how the CSU has adopted sustainability as a core value, how to use our resources in an environmentally, socially, and economically responsible way. To summarize, the 4 key points of the sustainability goals established in 2014 include 1, integrating sustainability into the curriculum, 2, developing employee and student workforce skills in the green jobs industry and promote sustainable products and services, 3, pursue sustainable practices in both business operations and self-funded entities like housing and parking. 4, to encourage campuses to designate a sustainability officer to coordinate campus sustainability program efforts. So the written report was in your mailed packet information, and there's also some copies at the back room should any of the guests today would like a copy. The report highlights the academic programs, directed research activities, reductions in both utilities and greenhouse gases, and showcases the great progress of our campuses. To implement the board's policy, actions have been taken at all levels of the university and across academic, administrative, and student services functions to promote collaboration and mutual goals. Our 2 presenters will share their role in supporting the board's policy, and in the Wallace Room, immediately following today's meeting, we have a poster session with a number of campuses, faculty, students, and staff available to share their accomplishments and their successes. So we'll begin with efforts at CSU Bakersfield. President Mitchell.
Thank you, Vi, and good afternoon, everyone. Institutionalizing sustainability has helped advance CSU Bakersfield's strategic goal to develop a campus culture with a sense of community and a commitment to organizational excellence. We foster the value of environmental sustainability as an institution by including it in our strategic plan. Our specific objective reads, quote, promote practices across the campus that evidence a commitment to environmental sustainability, close quotes. The change is quite visible at CSUB in many areas. First, in operations, we partnered with our local public transit agency to reduce carbon emissions by creating rapid routes between CSU Bakersfield and Bakersfield College, a primary source of our community college transfers. We created a free bike share program for faculty, staff, and students, and we are participating in the CSU Solar 4 initiative to add to our existing 1 megawatt of renewable power. In academics, the University Sustainability Committee and the Academic Senate supported the trustees' policy to integrate sustainability into the curriculum. As part of our successful quarter to semester conversion, which was heavily supported by Chancellor White, faculty redesigned the general education program to embed sustainability through thematic GE pathways. The GE pathways are interdisciplinary courses that provide students a broad base of learning and a solid foundation for any major. The 3 themes faculty established are those on this slide that you see in front of you. We have found that students tend to be very engaged in the course content. The quality of life theme includes discussions of environmental issues such as climate change and California's drought. The sustainability and justice theme incorporates equity concepts such as housing and food insecurity, and the revolutionary ideas and innovations theme provides examples of creative thinking and experiential learning to solve the myriad of ongoing challenges that affect our lives. Such courses foster critical thinking about real-world problems facing our students and helps them to be more fully engaged. For example, Dr. Luis Cabriles Arriaga, Assistant Professor of Engineering at CSUB, is featured in a student success profile on the CSU homepage for his work with undergraduate student researchers and how to clean oil, gas, and dairy wastewater efficiently and cost-effectively for use in agricultural irrigation. This slide that you see now shows the sustainability change agents across the campus who have partnered to make a greater impact. In 2013, a faculty graduate student research team identified the need to help with food insecurity. We formed a food and housing security committee and opened a food pantry last fall. The food pantry is in addition to our monthly food distribution and is overseen by Student Affairs. The President's Sustainability Committee is developing, as we speak, a university edible garden. These are programs where students and others benefit, and they are supported by our AmeriCorps program student interns. In addition, we have participated in the system's Campus as a Living Lab program. Biology professor Dr. Brandon Pratt's course on plants was redesigned to incorporate water-wise landscaping. An area of the campus was studied by the class. Irrigation and plants were changed, and the students could see, measure, and monitor the impacts. We see this type of course contributing to the curriculum over time as campus sustainability needs are further defined and courses can be integrated to include each of these learning opportunities. So we're very excited about this. The campus is very much engaged across divisions and very engaged with students as well. So thank you, and I'll turn it back to Vi.
Thank you, President Mitchell. I'll now turn to Associate Professor Adrian Grave from Cal Poly to discuss the creation of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo's Climate Action Plan.
Thank you. The Cal Poly Climate Action Plan, known as PolyCap, was developed by students with faculty oversight, but was supported by facilities management. It was a process that integrated greenhouse gas reduction and climate adaptation across all aspects of campus operations, so facilities, academic programs, and student life. It began over the summer before the academic term with students working on a greenhouse gas inventory that added emissions resulting from commutes, as well as emissions from agricultural programs, to the already annual greenhouse gas inventory submitted by facilities management. Students then, during the school year, conducted a full policy audit of all plans and policies adopted and implemented by campus, as well as a climate vulnerability assessment to assess the ways in which unavoidable climate change was going to affect campus. Throughout the process, students conducted outreach on campus to students, operational departments, as well as academic programs, as well as the city of San Luis Obispo, so our surrounding community, to get feedback to integrate into the development of the plan. What's the next one? Oh, I'll add one more piece on outreach. As a faculty member, the experience of having a diverse stakeholder group for your students to talk to is something you cannot replicate in a classroom, and was an unbelievable valuable piece in terms of having a facilities academic program integration on this. Okay, looking forward, yes, we will continue to assess greenhouse gases as we continue to change and develop as a campus. That information will ultimately be used to update the climate action plan. We have, and we will, as we continue to implement the campus master plan, the consequences of that development will be assessed for greenhouse gas emissions, and we expect campus to continue to be aggressive about sustainability and climate, as they have been. The last 3 new buildings are all LEED Gold certified and are currently operating at 20 to 40% above state energy standards. We also will monitor the output from our new solar array, the 18 acres that now have a solar array at Cal Poly. On this slide, you can see my graduate environmental planning students spending time on site to begin to understand and ask questions about the siting of large-scale solar arrays. There's also engineering curricular integration underway as well. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you some of what we're up to at Cal Poly. I'd be happy to talk to you at the poster session.
Thank you, President Mitchell and Adrian, for joining me today in the presentation. As noted in both the report and the agenda item, the CSU has made tremendous progress in the sustainability goals set by the board. We have identified in the report where we are compared to the 2020 goals as far as energy reduction, greenhouse gas reduction, water reduction. So I think if you read the report, you'll see that we've made great progress in spite of not having a lot of money. And that will continue to be the case, I foresee. Our written report documents not only our facilities achievements, but the CSU currently hosts 65 sustainability-related academic institutes or research centers at 18 campuses, representing a broad array of academic disciplines. The institutes are involved in research and development, demonstration projects, and initiatives to facilitate technology transfer and community development. Currently, 36% of academic departments surveyed in the CSU reported having at least one faculty or staff member engaged in sustainability-related research. This provides students throughout the CSU with the opportunity to participate in and contribute to cutting-edge sustainability research in their chosen academic discipline. Of note is the selection of San Jose State to lead the new California State Transportation Consortium in partnership with CSU Chico, Fresno, and Long Beach. Funded by up to $2 million in annual state appropriations through California Senate Bill 1, the consortium will support transportation research and transportation-related workforce education, training, and development in the CSU. In this first assessment of the progress of the 2014 sustainability policy, you'll find examples of our progress in academics, workforce development, energy, climate action and adaptation planning, green building, transportation procurement, recycling, waste reduction, and sustainable food systems. Our system is doing a spectacular job that will benefit our students, our campuses, California, for generations to come. Chair Nylon, this concludes our report. We're happy to invite the board and those present to the poster session in the Wallace Room. And I really appreciate the students, faculty, and staff coming in today and for their work on the report, and my staff in particular putting the report together for your information. Thank you.
Thank you, Vi. That was an exceptional presentation, and it's a wonderful report, so thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Vice Chair Day.
Thank you, Chair Nylon, and I'd just like to take a moment to thank Vi, all of the presidents, faculty, and staff on every campus. This is becoming more and more important, each and every day and each and every year with the climate challenges we're facing. But I would also like for this board and the public to also acknowledge the hard work of our chairwoman, Becky Ice. And this obviously is an issue near and dear to her heart, and she's championed it, as all of us know, with her not only her bi-monthly reports, but reminders throughout the year. So a great team effort in stretching our resources and protecting our environment from all parts of the system and the CSU family. So congratulations to everybody.
Lieutenant Governor Newsom.
Just a quick question. Do we have a system-wide recycling rate? Is there a stated goal, or are we measuring that?
I'd like to say in the report there's a 50% reduction goal. We are behind in making that goal, but we're working on it.
And we've measured it campus by campus, then obviously.
That's right, and there's a state program we participate in as well.
And then we have LEED certification requirements on all new construction? Is it LEED Silver or LEED certification? Obviously not LEED Gold.
I encourage LEED Silver, and we do have some campuses actually that have achieved platinum.
But so no minimum requirement?
No.
Okay. Some I think we should consider. And then also on remodels, I assume then the same would be the case.
That's right.
So just something in terms of just encouraging our next iteration of efforts, be something I hope we can take a look at. And I imagine, without getting into outliers, I imagine certain campuses are exceptional, thus they were highlighted. Others may not be so exceptional. But you don't want to point them out, do you?
We encourage all our campuses to do great things.
You should be sitting here. All right.
Governor, I should point out on that note, you may not have been at this meeting just recently, but our capital improvement plan, which I think is an incredible addition that Vi Entertainment put together every year as the board reviews it and adopts it. As I recall, and maybe you can explain, but for the first time, you're now capturing with all the projects across the system at every campus what those impacts are, greenhouse gas emissions, and what the reductions will be with new projects and spending those capital dollars to further reduce our carbon footprint.
All right, thank you all very much. Just to recall, this is an informational item, and so I want to thank everyone for their comments, and we look forward to additional resources in order to accomplish this at a more rapid rate. So following this meeting, we invite everyone to attend the sustainability poster session in the Wallace Room, where you can see some of the wonderful projects being led by our campuses, and I hope you join me. Mr. Vice Chair Day, this concludes the business of the Committee on Campus Planning, Buildings, and Grounds.